Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great one lined up for you today. You know, this Ripple versus SEC or SEC versus Ripple, however you like to say it. Sure, it's a legal battle, but I also believe it's a vetting process. And I tell you, we're going to take a look at some information today that really splits us up in what I believe is two different camps. Let's see if we can't sort this thing out together. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove, and everything that we're talking about here today, $2.623 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency this morning. That is extremely exciting to me, up just 1%, but the number 2.6 means we got fresh money in the space, and a lot of TA people are very excited about the idea that we may be having a breakout imminent for XRP in the very near term. Now, I wanted to show you, let me see where it is really quickly. Right here, this from Dark Defender, who says there's an incoming breakout. And if you look at the relative strength index out here is really coming to a head here. And you also see where the actual chart itself is this morning. It really does look pretty convincing that we're going to be challenging some new all-time highs maybe in the coming weeks or months. So this is exciting stuff, and we will keep an eye on it. Not financial advice from me or anyone else, but right now Bitcoin is over $62,000, Ethereum over $4,000, and Cardano $2.16, and Solana 206, and we see that XRP is 111 this morning. Now, as we see, the range on XRP price is 108.70 on the low end and 113 flat on the upper end. The numbers are brought to you by Link2, Private Investing Made Simple. Let me show you just how quickly these things are moving. Ripple, fully subscribed right now. Yeah, have to keep an eye out for when they'll be putting more back up. 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time is the best time to look if you're looking to be the early bird gets the worm, right? But right now, I want to tell you about Uphold, because Uphold is $7.50. And let me tell you, I read a number yesterday, over 2,300+% gains year to date. How about that for Uphold? That's an incredible number right there. So I wanted to share that with you, and there's not much left of it. So make sure you check that out and all the other incredible products that they have. This is Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase here. The Ripple case seems to be going better, than expected. Meanwhile, the SEC is realizing that attacking crypto is politically unpopular because it harms consumers. This is an article we covered weeks ago here from Forbes, and I believe it was Rosalind Layton that shout out to her for this great article here. But he says the irony is that the people they are supposedly protecting are the ones attacking them. And that's true. And Craig DeWitt from Ripple says, wait till you hear how our products are doing. Go ahead, Craig DeWitt. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Looking right here, this is John Deaton sharing from what got retweeted and shared on BitBoy's show, which was Mr. Intuitive here. And that is pretty exciting because he actually brought light on his show, BitBoy's show, to go sign up for the XRP class action lawsuit. If you have not done that, I encourage you to go to John Deaton's profile right here, and it's pinned at the top of the page, and you can sign up. There is no downside. Any private information you share, your name, email address, and all that stuff, will be held by John Deaton. It will not be given out without your consent. You do not have to say how much XRP you have or reveal any other information about your holdings other than you hold. So there is no downside, and John Deaton is the voice of the XRP holders in the XRP army. Make no mistake about that. Now, we're going to look at some information here in a second, but I want to go over this because I really think we're on a path somewhere here for Ripple and XRP to be really legally defined and vetted at the same time. But take a look at this, because this just speaks more to the inconsistencies. And we actually covered this some time ago, but it's a reminder here that in the ethics of trading for the SEC, it actually acknowledges under cryptocurrencies that XRP itself isn't also a cryptocurrency. You know, this is more inconsistency by the SEC, whether it's trading rules for their own employees or whether it's just the case itself and the 8 years that went by. This is a mess. But here we see Ripple they keep forging forward here. And it shows you that the world is a big place. And the problem that they're having here is in the United States. And I believe once that problem is resolved, we're going to see possibly a completely different way that Ripple operates. Not really how Ripple operates, but maybe how it moves forward as an entity, and potentially how XRP asset itself may be classified for a first time. I can't say reclassified because we all believe it to be a virtual currency. I guess I could say reclassified because FinCEN in 2015 said it was a virtual currency. So we could see that reclassified, really. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. But good on Ripple here. They said they're thrilled to share that we're partnering with PYYPL payment card company to bring ODL to the Middle East for the first time. Exciting stuff. Then I covered yesterday here where we saw the CEO of Citigroup explain that, and listen, she has 8 seconds here. Listen to this.
A topic we spend a lot of time discussing with many of our partners and clients as well. So I think you start off with the premise. It's clear that digital assets will be part of the financial services and financial markets, the future of them.
And there you have it. They will be a part of the finance and future markets right there. So here we see, however, in the retail secondary market, another exchange in the light of the ongoing SEC government lawsuit against Ripple. XRP no longer fits within our internal KYP policy. Due to this, we will be delisting and suspending all trading of XRP as of November 22nd this year, just a little less than a month from now. Please sell, trade, or transfer XRP off the CoinSmart platform by that date. You know, Mr. BXRP actually asked a great question somewhere in this thread. You know, were they told by the SEC to delist and halt trading, or was it their decision alone to do that? That is a great question. Now, I'm about to take you through some information here, and some of which you may have seen and some of which you may have not have seen. But I want you to stay with me through this, because I believe as we move through this case, potentially, like I said, I believe as much as this is a legal battle for Ripple and XRP, which represents the entire crypto space as to whether the SEC is going to have jurisdiction and purview over all these assets, we're also witnessing a vetting process for the asset. Okay, so now, through this process of vetting this token, right, this digital asset, right, it has to be legally defined before these wholesale financial institutions can really use it comfortably. It needs to be legally defined. And we see here more and more, we're seeing halting and delisting happening here in the secondary market for us retail investors. I remind you of this little clip right here that I'm going to play of Michelle Bond when she was at Ripple back in 2019, I believe this was. Check it out.
Something that, we're actively engaged in with 50 governments around the world.
50 governments around the world right there, right? Now let's take a listen here. And I want you to hear this clip. This is Dillon Brown, and this is him breaking down for you what the plan is, right? In 2018, what the plan is for Ripple and XRP. He's very clear about this. Let me make sure I've got this on normal. Yeah, it is, because sometimes I listen at faster speed so I can get through longer segments quicker. So listen to what he says here about the plan.
Be a company policy.
No, very deliberately, yeah. So we have positioned XRP really as a digital asset for use by financial institutions, really on a wholesale basis.
Really on a wholesale basis for financial institutions. Got that part? Keep listening. They're not my words, and you guys know where I'm at here, but these are not my words. These are words from Dirk Rau from his time at Ripple. This is for wholesale, and he's not talking about the Ripple software, mind you. He's talking about the digital asset XRP, wholesale back-end use for financial institutions. Keep listening here.
So right now, the XRP ledger is a public ledger. It is really a ledger of liabilities. So what I mean by that is,
if it's a ledger of liabilities, that almost sounds to me like, debt obligations, notes, right? And we've heard Gary Gensler talk about the idea that the Reeves test, not the Howey test, but the Reeves test, when something is a note, and that note could be a security or non-security designation as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep listening.
you can take money from somebody and issue a balance on the Ripple ledger. You can take gold, you deposit gold with somebody and you can issue a balance in gold on the Ripple ledger. So any kind of a liability that you have can be issued on the Ripple ledger. The validation of transactions is through consensus. So the use of XRP is probably threefold. I guess I told you about two of them already, as a substitute for Nostros, as a bridge currency, and initially it was also a mechanism to stop denial of service attacks on the network. So really, it was never designed for buying coffee.
It was never designed for buying coffee. And we've heard Brad Garlinghouse say that he would never buy coffee, I believe, or get a haircut with it, right?
So our positioning for XRP is really as a wholesale digital asset.
A wholesale digital asset, which means back end. Now, we're going to get to whether we can hold it or not here shortly, but the reality is he's just told you exactly what the path is, and the path is not a retail market. Now, to that point, we've seen people like James Rule XRP, shout out to him, go to the store and be able to use his XRP to buy goods, but there is a conversion that is happening back end. On the back end, that is converting that XRP through that card that's loaded and paying cash to the grocery store that he's purchasing those items. Great use case, by the way, but back end nonetheless.
And we're licensed to sell that out of a fund that we have in New York as exactly that, for that purpose.
So you're saying,
as exactly that for that purpose, which is for wholesale back-end use. Because the truth is Ripple has never sold directly to the retail public, period.
It's mostly used by banks, but is it only for banks now? Or do you think that will be something?
Listen very carefully. Is it only for banks now? Listen to what he says.
Other use cases?
So I think the starting point was certainly this primary use case for cross-border transactions. Now, we've gone there because obviously there's big money there, and therefore you want to solve big problems. So we have many, now a lot of MSBs or PSBs, beginning to sign up to Ripple because they compete with banks. So we are not saying that this is only for banks or only for somebody else, but really, ultimately, all of these financial institutions have to transact with each other, and they'll do that only if they know and trust each other. So from that point of view, joining the club means that we're creating a RippleNet club, which, for the first time, in 40 years, there's a new network coming together of both banks and financial institutions who want to use this technology, but also what we call the Ripple rulebook, to be able to transact comfortably with each other. So they will use XRP, we hope. Initially, MSBs are using the XRP, and they're using pilots, for example, people like MoneyGram, Coalix in US, Mexico, etc. But ultimately, once banks get more comfortable, the volatility comes down, some of the big money comes into it, the regulators get more comfortable with the use of this as a digital asset. So our general view to regulators is, don't just think about this class as being good or bad. You have to figure out, what is being done with it. What is the use case? And certain use cases perhaps are not good, and you want to sort of regulate those much more strongly. Other use cases probably are very benign, and it should be encouraged because it allows the intrinsic cost structure of banking to be more efficient.
And there you have it. Now let's listen. We have more to hear here. Let's listen to this comment from Dirk Rau in 2018 as well.
To Dillon, this question comes from the audience. Many people are using cryptos just to buy and sell and make quick gains out of it. Does it hurt the growth of cryptocurrencies, that usage for a quick buck?
So I mean, it's kind of chicken and egg. You have to create a marketplace. And right now, we have about 150, 200 exchanges around the world that trade in XRP. A lot of it, as you say, is very shallow trading by individuals. And that is not the use case that we are pursuing. What we are pursuing is the use of XRP as a financial asset by sophisticated institutions.
And just be very clear, he just told you to our face, we are not the use case for us to speculatively buy this asset. The use case is for financial institutions, sophisticated financial institutions.
As a bridging mechanism. So does this hurt or harm? Well, it creates a lot of noise. And, we certainly don't want that much noise, but we're waiting. And for example, this last quarter, the bulk of XRP sales were to institutional investors. And as this transitions away from retail to institutions,
as it transitions away from retail to institutions,
we'll start to use it for wholesale, financial usage. That's when the turning point will come.
That's when the turning point will come, right? They're telling you to your face that what we are potentially someday is some of the luckiest people in the world to buy this before the rules change. And this case may be just one of the moments where the rules begin to change about this asset, because it's going through a legal process and a vetting process, and it is going to be legally defined. Now, whether that happens in this case or whether the case is dropped or settled without clarity, we could still see the U.S. government or the U.S. Treasury or a regulatory agency connected to it come in and make that clarity happen, because the regulatory agencies connected to the Treasury are prudential regulators, not market regulators. They don't need Congress's approval. But let's keep listening. We got more to hear here.
No, so as I said, the X-current product, the way it's implemented today, uses fiat currencies. So the convergence that we see coming in the next phase is for banks to have an option to say, do I want to use XRP? So instead of the German bank holding Turkish lira, they could say, Akbank, are you able to accept XRP and give me Turkish lira? Here's 100 lira worth of XRP. Here's 1 million lira worth of XRP. And instantly that can be settled without having to hold balances. So that's the holy grail. That's the ultimate end goal that we're aiming for. But if you don't have connectivity, you can't even start. So first you get the banks connected. They do what they're doing today better. They like it. They build new services on it. Then they go, I want to do this in 100 countries, but I can't hold currencies in 100 countries. Well, guess what? You got XRP. So it's a phase strategy, but that's the way banking works.
It's a phase strategy, but that's the way banking works, right? Then we know this from 2019. Very quick spot right here. Listen to this. I have to tell you that I have said this, and you can see this from Ripple's strategy in social media. I love Ripple. I love XRP. I love everybody there. I've had a chance to meet Michelle Bond and Monica Long. We need more professional women in this space like them. We need more people to understand exactly what's going on with Ripple and XRP, and I certainly believe I do. And I've said it before, this is not a consumer-facing product. This is a digital asset that is going to be a part of the digital asset space. I do not believe for a second that it means that you cannot hold it. What I do believe, however, is that by the time it is going to be implemented, it will move so fast and so quickly in price to accommodate the actual the market that they're looking to serve, which is the financial markets, that it will certainly not be a consumer-facing product because it will be out of reach. And what will be a consumer-facing product at that point will be drops of XRP. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. That is where I'm at, and that was a clip I played more than a year ago from one of my videos. And Michelle Bond obviously not there now. Monica has gone on to another branch of what Ripple's doing with Ripple X, and I have to say that we are in this process, and we are seeing already certainly here in the U.S., we are witnessing that XRP, and certainly in Canada, we've seen delisting and halting there as well, it's harder and harder to get a hold of. Now, isn't it? And this may be that transition phase that we're in that Dillon Brown talked about, to where it's moving more to sophisticated financial institutions wholesale back end. Again, I don't believe that it necessarily means that we can't own or hold it, but we may not be able to get it in the same manner that we are very, very used to. That means a myriad of things could come out of this, right? It could be accredited investor level status that you need to have to be able in order to buy this. It may be moved to where you go through a dealer broker to get this, and we can still have access to it. But one thing I understand is that when the big money comes into this, the way Dillon Brown talked about, it could push the price of this asset up so quickly that what is the common standard of buying XRP becomes buying drops instead. And I do believe a moment like that will reach us. And I don't know if it's near term or long term, but I'm here for the entire term. That much I can tell you. And I do know that of recent, we have also seen, this gentleman here, Jimmy Valley, who really has been talking about and floating the idea out here on social media about a proposed buyback with, I believe, the Fed. And I have to say, does he get it done? I don't know. Is it a possibility? I don't know. What I do know, though, is that without any doubt whatsoever, the mission that Ripple is on with the implementation of the digital asset XRP and the use of it is for sophisticated financial institutions wholesale back end. And if it does remain open to us to buy as retail investors, I believe it will be drops at some point that most people are buying more than the whole XRP, just like you buy fractions of Bitcoin instead of whole Bitcoins because of the price. Not financial advice, but my personal speculation and my perspectives, I think, on where this is ultimately going. Now, Jimmy Valley also said to this tune, he said, it is done. Congratulations to all. What he is remarking to here, because he did clear this up for somebody, is that he believes that he said, I once proposed a hypothetical that the major government central banks would come to an agreement on their use of central bank digital currencies, and XRP is a neutral, interoperable bridge asset between them. That hypothetical for him has become fact after this meeting that he has just come back from. Now, I did speak with him, full disclosure, and he could not reveal who it is that he spoke to me about these issues, but he seemed very adamant that that was no longer a hypothetical for him as it still is for us, right? But that is exciting because I know that, Jimmy is a legit guy. And I also know that there are two trains of camps here, or two trains of thought here. And one is also J.C. Collins. And I'm not digging on him. I have a lot of respect for this guy. He is an extremely smart guy. And he believes that anybody in the XRP community believing and promoting this idiotic Fed buyback narrative, please stop. It makes us XRP holders look dumb. This is not happening, he says. And it reminds him of the stupid Chinese heritage bonds and the Iraqi dinar scams. Cue ignorant and dumb comments, 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to give that because listen, I have a lot of different friends and personalities in my life, and some of those people I agree with sometimes and some I don't, but I'm grateful they're in my life, and I'm grateful we all don't think the same way. And I would just say, I hope that JC and I hope that Jimmy Valley over time is able to give us more and more information about the things that he is working on and what it may reveal for all of us of how solid or not solid it may or may not be. And I encourage Jimmy to continue to talk with me, and we will keep you posted as I'm able to. And at the same time, I hope JC, because this guy is really, really smart. Instead of, taking a cancel culture approach here, I would like JC to really break down legitimately here, just as I have done to show that in the words of the executives from Ripple have explained to us that we're not the end goal. And it's for wholesale back-end use. And whether that door stays open for retail investors to still get it, or whether we got to go a different way to get it through a broker dealer, or whether we end up at some point buying more drops than we do XRP because the price goes really high at some point, all of these things for me are very much still on the table. And I would like us collectively all to work together, not to cancel one another, but to work together and share what we really believe and not try to hang boat anchors of other issues around the necks of XRP holders, because those things don't have anything to do with what we hold. But I would like to see real information that he or anybody else believes that this cannot take place. Because if Ripple is telling us the truth, and I believe they are when they say it's sophisticated financial institutions and wholesale back end, then at some point, maybe a buyback narrative from someone, if not the Fed, may be something that can develop or be on the table. Maybe it's as simple as that buyback is going through a dealer broker and dealing with a dealer broker, and it's not as fancy as dealing with the Fed itself. I don't know the answer, but I want to encourage all of us to not really just shoot each other down and be condescending, but to really offer up real laid out information, as I believe I've done here, to make the case that the digital asset is really headed. And if you add in the case and where we are at this moment, and understanding that this is about the marketing that Ripple had done back end, which at line 82 of the case tells us clearly that there was pre-allocated, if you will, pre-contractual agreements for this asset with these over-the-counter customers, which could potentially qualify as a fine to the SEC. No biggie. Let's cut the check and let's get moving. But it also may be deeper implications, too, about what happens to the secondary market through the legal definition of not just this case, but this asset. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. I'm a fan of all of these people, so I'm not digging on any of them. I'm just asking that we dig deeper together and not on each other. That's where I'm going to leave it for today. And make sure you check out all the links in the description box and the comment section, because there's some really great products and services out there. And who knows, maybe an XRP incoming breakout is closer than all of us realize, regardless of the case. I'll catch you on the next one.